Kamis loke, ay, ay. 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 slow, okay? It's a underground connect, oh. Names in the beat. Low, give it hit. Names in the beat.
Slims, baby.
She a do the dark thing, and post for me. Girl, you got the juice, I can't get enough, mommy. Where you got coffee, I waste, you know they waste time. You got the juice, I'm all I'm begging for more. I go chop you like baby, no do you like David. All of that things where you want, see I give you. Baby, no they waste time. Make you give me some more. Make you give me some more. I tell her baby, kilometer, kilometer, kilometer. I tell her baby, kilometer, kilometer, kilometer. I tell her baby, kilometer, kilometer, kilometer. I tell her baby, kilometer. Slay mama, me a player number one. Top shooter from Jeta representing. Call those things where you want me a buy. Do me hard, baby girl, see the time. You know I slay mommy, I be your slave baby. Tonight it be the night, baby girl, we go naughty. Slow K a dan da da, let me see a murderer. The way we tack a face speed, they see we murderers. Kilometer, kilometer, kilometer. I tell her baby, kilometer, kilometer. Kilometer, I tell her baby, kilometer, 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 I tell her baby, kilometer, 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 oh, I miss it, W. I take you all wide. Mommy make you follow me, I do the car, baby, and feel me, I get the juice and jeans. Anything you want, make you holla on me phone. And anytime you bored, make you come feel me, I get you, I got anything for you. I tell her baby, kilometer, oh, kilometer, kilometer, I tell her baby, kilometer, 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 I tell her baby, kilometer, 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 I tell her baby, kilometer, 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 oh,
sandari kai na isa je sakwato shi ke kano ka je ka tambaya gani nan bakin fuskan nan kamar tukunya yeah I'm the darkest nigga spitting na shigo da bala'i wallahi yaron yana ta layi in na kama big duka nake kamar sas banji a gaya musu wallahi I'm deaf a je a gaya ma Dr. Smith ni ne fa likita I'm a healer I treat rappers na sa injection me I'm on the base I don't see rappers when I'm moving kamar Mercedes da Honda we no be classmate fresh boy ga mata nan suna ta rush a Facebook Twitter har cikin IG I came back with my battalion army, black on black man, like Italian baby. Ina da magana, na dauka microphone na ce mace ina da magana, guda ka tafi mace ina da magana, na dauka microphone na ce musu ina da magana.
permit me to paint pictures that are not portrait to portrait.
It all springs out from what you desire. As a man think getting is hard, so easy. So think right, cause that's who you be.
1, 2, 3.
She's gonna be fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She's gonna be fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And it's gonna be fine. 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 It's gonna be fine.
It's clean sounds of clean. Oh na na na, na.
Cyrus and the pit.
Oh na na na, na.
Fuego!
Don't you ever leave me for the paper. She said my success is the payback. You be the sauce, you be the flavor. I no go ever use your flavor. If you give me love, I no go run away. And every other day go be like holiday. Maybe scatter body or your wide ways. The way you hypnotize be like I the crazy. You know say body no be firewood. Come make I show you up for my hood. You know say body no be firewood. Come make I show you up, yeah. You be my rhythm and blues. I fit to make you my muse. Linda AKG for the news. Ovia baby for the groove, yeah. You be my rhythm and blues. I fit to make you my muse. Linda AKG for the news. Ovia baby for the groove, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh baby give me all the loving. All the loving. Oh my baby say yeah. Oh yeah. Oh baby give me all the loving. Oh baby give me all the loving. Oh. Shut up, put the Gucci on the plate. My baby give it.
Ransom got that sauce in it. Ransom got that sauce in it.
It's Jagger, baby.
Ransom got that sauce in it. Ransom got that sauce in it. Ransom got that sauce in it. Ransom got that sauce in it.
Hello there, good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. wherever you're joining in from. We apologize for our inability to bring you a lineup of your favorite program since yesterday was due to some technical issues, which has been fixed, by the way. And so we're back in business like we never left. Did you miss us?
Yeah. It was like a technical issue that it was beyond our control. Should we say it was like the witches and wizards that were out?
I village people.
Okay.
People do not like what we are doing.
No, they do not like it.
Serious, me, I believe they don't.
And I think people do.
Why do they? Why do you think they do?
I mean, because we're friends already. Like with
I'm very sure he meant not everybody.
Yeah,
just
certain
some people.
Yeah.
So who are these people? Let's name them. It's no among them.
We're not naming names, but we can just put them under one umbrella. Call them enemies of progress.
You know, when you say umbrella now, they say you're doing political program.
Because
there's a particular party that actually wants
okay.
with
Let's put them under one kind of.
Let's just sweep the
Canopy.
analogy away. Let's sweep that analogy away.
We sweep it. What do you use to sweep?
Ha.
I'm just saying now, it happens.
Yeah, sure it does.
But anyway, what are you listening to right now?
Well, this is African Patriots Radio.
Okay, so you know what we do on African Patriot Radio? What we do is we give you entertainment, information, and every other thing that you need to keep your mind right.
In between.
In between.
In between.
All in one. It's like,
Okay.
put a bow on it.
Yeah.
Like it's on
Total
a
package.
You read minds now.
Nice one. It's 9 minutes after 2, and before then, many people went for lunch, and I'm just wondering what everybody had for lunch. Because for me, I had boiled corn.
Wow.
I'm still in the corn season. I thought.
Well, you can find corn.
Yeah.
So.
Not the fresh one though. Preserved corn.
Are you trying to say that I ate corn that is not fresh?
That's what she said.
I'm just saying, like, this is not the season. This is August, towards the end of it.
Yeah.
I think they stop harvesting June, towards the end of June. So it's still fresh until July.
We actually like at the end of the month of August. So it's like, wow. All the people that eat corn.
Leftovers.
Corn that's like 1 month still.
I tell you. And you know the weird part about the whole thing of us not being on air yesterday till today, even the internet missed us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt it.
Oh, you feel things now?
Man, I'm a filler.
Well, she.
Okay.
Original.
I'll let us slide.
No, not on that level. No, not on that level. But I do feel things. Like when things happen, I feel it. I'll be like, I feel these things.
Wow.
I'm like some DJ Khaled stuff. That kind of thing.
I somehow knew I was going to get to that.
Why? No, I mean.
Nah, Khalid had to come in one way or another. I agree with you.
Okay, now, as much as I agree, I know there are people that are so going to disagree.
Why would they disagree?
They feel like the roasted one makes you go, gives you this memory of you're back in the village where it's smoke and like the smoke is all part of it.
You can use firewood to also boil the boiled one.
Yeah, actually, it's fire that used to burn
exactly.
No,
would you still perceive smoke there too?
No, at the end of the day, there are people that would argue that roasted corn is better than
that's their
boiled
personal
corn.
No,
So
but
it's a personal preference.
No, but let's ask,
Problem.
what exactly do we derive from corn? Is it carbohydrates?
Yeah,
It's starch
and
actually.
yeah.
So
It's
And
starch?
then-
Yeah,
there's
that falls back to carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, and there's a lot of fiber in there.
Do you see that? So let's ask ourselves, if you roast it or you boil it, which one takes away the carbohydrate and the starch?
None.
So,
It's the same thing. It's
however
just the way
you have
prepare.
it, it's so good.
Yeah.
if your taste is strong enough to.
Yeah. Some people like it crisp though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm saying.
so-
Have you? Oh wow. No, see, there's some that I've actually tested, and it's like someone is deliberately trying to make you break your teeth.
What? What kind of a person that person should be labeled a terrorist?
Oh yeah.
We are fighting against them. But let's just look at it all. If you say boiled corn, roasted corn, at the end you're just trying to get your carbohydrate and
Hydrates,
stuff.
yeah.
Which one is easier to eat? In roasted corn, you want to now know which one is soft, which one is soft, or strong, right?
Yeah.
But you do that with boiled corn.
They know. This the people that boil the corn know if you're buying from a vendor.
Yeah, but look at it now.
So when you
The
boil
main
it-
in boiled or hard or soft, boiled corn is easy to eat
Yeah,
compared
easier,
to.
yeah, to
Yes.
roasted one.
Again, I agree with you.
And you know what? You look at something else. If you're looking at what we're
Just not
fighting,
fan of
we're
roasted corn.
we're fighting pandemics, right? And you're doing roasted corn. How do you know roasted corn is soft or strong?
You have to touch it.
You touch it, and everybody come and touch it. Then you carry it and put it in your mouth.
No, you don't
and
allow
it's
people
not like you can wash it after they've roasted it.
Okay, now, please, don't let me bring in another kind of food that has that problem.
With the touching.
Yes, with
Which
the
one?
touching.
Please, let's stop.
Suya.
Hey, do you used to touch suya before you?
suya.
No, I don't.
Oh, wow.
But I
You
have
don't
to-
like touch
No,
it.
it's not.
Oh, I
No,
don't know.
like, is it done? Is it done?
Let
Then
me
you
know.
touch it.
It's like, let me lay my hands on the suya.
No, that's not what I meant. Now, touching it, like you touch it and you leave it, you've contaminated it, yeah? But I'm talking about the people that make them.
Oh, yeah.
Then, you know, suya is made of, what's it called now? This mesh iron. It's never washed. I don't think it's washed.
I don't follow them home, so I don't know.
Yeah, so you.
Yeah, and then you want to buy suya and you're like, Abokika, we're testing. And you don't remember to use hand sanitizer at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, to a large extent. So
But have
just
you
think
imagined
about-
this? You want to buy suya. Before you buy, you know, there's this thing they do. They will cut a piece for you to know
And then
what
they
type
used
of
to
meat.
speak.
Gashi 500 na suya in the
And he takes the money.
He collects the money and puts
Puts
it in
in
pocket
but
and
and
continues
continues.
cutting.
And then
Yeah.
you test it because
And then you because your thread is long.
you took the words right out of my mouth.
So
No,
what
but
do we do?
seriously.
How do we handle this kind of situation, like to make sure people do not touch it? Even the suya, what does he need to do? He has to use gloves or something.
Yes, like gloves, but you know they're working with fire, and so it's sure going to melt. And they cannot use like material or like it has to be
Stickers.
polythene, and then that will melt with fire.
Okay. What about having somebody else who does the deal of collecting the money?
Yes, that
Yes,
will work.
that would actually help.
That will work. And please have people stand like a few feet away from here because they're talking and they're spitting in it. Like I want the spot that possible. I'm like, okay. Oh
I
my
once went to a
goodness.
suya guy. The guy is like DJ Khaled.
Oh,
He was
wow.
hyping his suya.
Exactly.
It's an orange seller. I saw do that one now, but it was good.
He was just saying, he was like, when the suya, well, if you eat this suya, well, anything that is wrong with you is going to get away. Piam.
But imagine saying suya.
And you
I
know,
understand.
those consonants, is it consonants now?
Yeah.
Consonants have a way of making you bring out anything that could
Yeah.
bring out your speed. And
Yeah.
Ugh.
And
I
like,
complained,
so
but
good.
somebody said, now the thing where they make the thing sweet. Well,
Okay, no. Well,
Okay,
no.
seriously, you guys need to stop.
no, I'm just saying. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy suya anymore. I'm just,
No, it's not.
I'm concerned.
Trust me. I've thought about all these things before.
Oh.
I keep thinking about them like every day. Like the other time, actually, when I I noticed the suya one, I was like, okay, I changed my mind. Like at the moment, but now that was me changing my mind. And then I got home and somebody brought him like, suya. I'm like, I
Hey.
didn't remember at that point.
Unrepentant sinner.
Can you imagine? Okay, but me, that what I don't even understand again is why do we buy suya only at night, and why are the people who sell suya only at night?
No.
Darkness.
People sell suya during the day, but then they actually do not understand.
See, that
What
is
follows-
a flavor.
Darkness
It's
is an
part of
important
it.
ingredient for suya. That's what makes
Because
it
you don't want
complete.
to see what you are eating.
No.
Why did you guys just answer the same way?
I'm saying because whoever eats suya during the day, it's probably because the suya is probably
Should be
stale
sued.
from the,
Whoever
from the
eats
previous
suya during the
day.
day should be sued.
Yes.
Why they don't kill animals in the night? That you do suya in the morning? No, I don't get.
It's just wrong.
I just feel like
What's wrong about it?
Darkness is part of the
yes,
ingredients.
it's a vital ingredient.
Oh, wow.
I'm just
So part
saying.
of the ingredients night.
Yes.
darkness.
The darkness.
It has to be dark.
Man, you guys are scaring me. But okay, let's. You know, I like suya. What do they call it in English? Kebabs, right?
Okay, yeah, kebabs, yeah.
So this is why I don't understand. One, I said one, which is the preparing of the suya at night.
Yeah.
Another one is I found out they said the best way to tell the person you love I'm sorry is suya. How?
How is that?
Okay, because I was going to ask you how. I've never heard
Because
that one
most
before.
times when people fight and they I'm going back to see baby, we had a problem, you know.
You
She
know,
said
but
that
suya.
she don't want to see me no more, but she wants to see suya.
Did you try money?
You try roses and chocolate.
When you
Yeah,
say
forget it,
roses,
roses,
is it like,
they
is it
talk
like, is
roses.
it like a
they
bouquet
bring
made
me
of
like-
money? Because I mean, important.
That one, what does
It
it?
hasn't got to be. It hasn't got to be about money. Have you tried roses
Money and chocolate. Okay, money and chocolate.
Roses and chocolate.
Not every girl like chocolate.
Not every girl likes
Actually,
roses.
not every girl.
I
But
know a
every
girl
girl
that-
likes money. Every girl likes money.
There was
My
one-
point exactly.
Some girls like muruchi. Have you
What
eaten
is
muruchi?
that? What is
Hey, these girls, you are under the rock. Oh.
Please,
Hey.
please,
Forgive us, enlighten us, wise one.
I don't want to school you without salary.
please. Another addition to my
Get
vocabulary.
salary now or school fees.
Did you school? If you pay school fees, I get salary now.
Okay.
What are we paying to? I thought you are the school. Like
No,
you
I'm
are
not
the
the school. The school is named
institution.
African Patriot Radio. You pay them. I see. It's like you say you pay, the bird start singing.
He who pays the piper.
Piper.
You understand? So now, if you say that suya is not a way to say sorry, you just said it now that okay, you have heard everything they said about suya, but in the night or in the evening, when they finish preparing it plus the ingredient called night is
Very
inside,
important. Yes.
they now bring it to you. Would you say I'm not eating it?
No, eat it now. It doesn't mean I'll eat it, but I'm angry. I'll still be angry. We eat it. So we finish. We go back to fight.
You know, sometimes, the guy is just begging you, say, baby, I'm very sorry. If not this thing, I will cross the oceans for you. I will go on 7 seas.
I won't eat you at that point because when you're crying and you're eating, it's kind of salty. Have you noticed?
I do not know about that. Girl, you're mean.
Do you like drink your tears with it? Because I know tears actually salty.
But imagine that someone is telling you I'm sorry, then you're perceiving kamshi. Do you know what you call kamshi?
What's
that?
Okay,
Okay,
wait.
wait.
Snow needs to get in here. Snow.
No, but seriously though, you're adding. That's a lot of addition to a vocabulary, and we don't even understand right now.
Kamshi, when you hear a man say kamshi shi ne wancan turaro wanda kina ji. Now, kina jin kamshin. Abu na wucewa.
You know,
Okay.
I'm just saying, when you start perceiving the smell,
Okay.
it has an aroma.
but what is it though?
When you perceive the aroma, you'll be like, baby, I know you hurt me, but I'm sorry too. I'm sorry for the fact that you're sorry. I will eat that suya right now and make up with you. I might even do a whole lot of things that have to do with make up with you.
Okay.
Sorry, I
I know. We know what you're trying to make out of that.
No, actually,
not the makeup like
No, we know what you're trying to make out of that.
Wow. Whoa. Okay.
Oh,
No, I did not say that. What I was saying was on the other level.
Where's my bowl of popcorn, though? Seriously,
There might be a movie in there.
You want popcorn, but you don't like roasted corn.
Okay.
This one was popped. It was popped in a pot.
So are you trying to say that like Michael Jackson called the king of pop means he's the king of popcorn?
Who knows?
Well, he didn't.
Wow.
I don't know. Did he ever eat popcorn? Okay.
We were not following him around, but
Yeah.
we know he wore mask before us.
Yeah, I saw it coming.
Yeah, well,
True.
but anyway, suya is a very nice one. But is it that healthy when you look at how much suya you're consuming? Because they say girls love suya. They are eating suya every night.
Every night.
But let's look at what is involved in the meat you eat. Most suya is actually ram, and I hear people saying, "I don't eat ram. I don't like the meat."
Now, different things you used to mix. I've heard of chicken suya.
Well, but have you seen it on the road?
Yes.
Are you serious? Chicken suya
It's
anywhere?
not like every and anywhere.
This
but
thing you just said.
The ones you
see,
say by the road are mostly beef or ram.
Yeah.
ram is one of the major.
Measure.
We really like measure.
Measure.
They shop ram where.
Well, okay, I don't really know about ram, but beef. When it comes to beef is red meat. It's not very healthy.
Not very.
For human body, yes, it's not very healthy.
But you have to eat beef one way or the other.
Well, there are occasions that actually call for it, but taking too much of it. I mean, if you actually have should I say opportunity or the chance to stay away from it, just stay away from
But
it.
Immaculate, you agree with her that beef is like red meat is
Red
not
meat,
bad, good.
Too much of everything is bad. To a
You
large
see, but you're
extent.
saying everything. You said red meat. She said everything. That means
No.
there's two things happening.
No, that's
here.
the thing.
No.
Red meat is actually not very healthy. It's not very good for the human body.
Why
And
is it not good?
It has a lot of
cholesterol.
Yes.
Yeah, it raises bad cholesterol to a large extent. Yes. So if you're actually at that verge where you have to check your cholesterol level, you should actually watch red meat. White meat is
Just stay away from it.
more preferred. Or alternatively, do organ meat.
So at what level is somebody not supposed to indulge in too much red meat?
Usually, they say once you're above 30,
I'm above 30.
you should start watching it.
yeah. Stop
I'm
taking
watching
red
it.
meat.
You should
I
start-
watch it when it's being roasted.
Okay, that's the one. That's the one I'm talking about. That's
I
the one
saw
I'm
that one
talking about.
coming.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, but you should really start watching your intake.
but when last did you go to a suya spot and say, "See, I want to eat suya, but please give me white meat, goat meat"?
No, I must. Did you do?
I actually-
I
Question.
mostly just asked. I mostly
Question.
just do chicken.
Yeah,
I mean that's the one. Though.
I love liver. Is that what's called? Yeah, liver.
If you
Organ meat. Organ meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Organ meat. Organ meat is very good.
Okay.
Yeah, so I love liver.
It's not everybody it's not everyone that likes organs.
Organ meat. Yes, true.
But have you ever wondered about how they wash the organ meat before they prepare it?
That's another
No,
thing.
at the end of the day, whatever we say, the best thing is actually that you do your stuff yourself. So you
at
know what's
home.
going in the pot.
So you know how to do soya.
I mean,
we're having that
everybody's
conversation
difficult,
the
yeah?
other day. Yeah, we're having that conversation the other day. Never done it on my own, but yes. Okay, the question she asked me the other
Mentally.
day was actually if I've seen a lady do it, and I told her yes, I have, and it came out really nice. It was just like a DIY.
Yeah.
And it came out nice. And then the next day, everybody was like, do that thing again.
Now
And
it's
it became
business.
like a business.
Okay, so let's talk about it. You just said something that really sparked another conversation, talking about types of things that people patronize
Okay.
and how it has been attached to a gender role.
Okay.
Now, we all know that suya has been attached to a particular gender.
Not just the gender, but what's it called? A tribe as well.
Yes, the tribe.
A tribe.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I heard someone say. Okay, probably to say now. We know that it's mostly people from the north that actually do that.
So, yeah.
And I heard someone say once that that even if an Igbo man does suya, there's something missing. I don't know if
Is
it's
it
the northern
off?
touch.
Someone said when you eat suya done by an Igbo man, you're going to start confusing your L and your R.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just wondering, but like you said, there are many things like we have noticed and we have come to agree that it has to be a man doing it. To the
Yeah.
point whereby if a woman is doing it, you have a problem. I know women do something with meat, grilled, but they call it stick meat, peppered meat.
Yeah.
we got fast calling it kebab.
Kebab.
Yeah, kebab.
Oh, that's actually kebab?
Yeah.
So what do you call suya now? No, just leave them for there.
Suya. Suya is on you.
Suya actually depends on who is doing
Doing
it.
it.
Oh, I thought it's turning on you. Okay, so
Nah, Nabuki has to turn it.
now you said another word. So an aboki has to be the one doing suya. Do you think it's because the people from the north are more interested and more indulged in what we call animal husbandry? That is why they're better when it comes to doing suya, or it's just a man thing?
No, but you know what they say, even as with us as humans, if you misbehave in the house where I grew up in, my dad would say you've missed your part, you should go back to the manual that the manufacturer
Did
has
you
the
grow up in
manual.
a house with girls and guys? Because before you talk to me about house you grew up in, you must tell me whether it's boys hostel.
Yeah.
I grew up in a boys hostel.
I actually grew up in a girls' hostel.
You see
And
that
my
kind of
brother-
thing?
I have just one brother, and he's really calm, like so calm that sometimes I feel
I
like
mean, how won't you be calm when you're overpowered?
no,
That's
he has so much influence that he doesn't talk, but once he speaks, everybody knows. Like, okay, Michael doesn't talk, but now he's talking, everybody has to listen.
Yeah.
Wow.
He has that much of
He's been able
influence
to
he
play
has.
his cards right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the kind of influence he has.
Well,
And
some
he's
people
not even
came
the
from
eldest.
mixed school. They are both boys and girls in their house.
Okay, I think the point I was trying to make now. Oh God, did that go?
Yeah,
It's okay.
It will come back to you.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe
It's
that
okay.
left.
It's okay. But I understand what you're trying to say.
Okay, yes, now I remember.
Oh, now she does.
Wow. thank
Now I
God.
remember. I was trying to talk about saying when you misbehave, Pops is like, go back to the manual. What the manufacturer has a manual. Now that's because he created you, and so he knows the best way that you should like act and behave and stuff. So I believe like these people are actually more vested with the animal husbandry thing, so they should know how to preserve, make stuff
stuff
of
out of
it,
it.
because
Okay.
it is like their staple. Like this is what they are good in to a large extent. So we just feel like people from the north, since they are very good at animals, so they should know the best way to do everything with it.
Oh yeah, like somehow that's actually influenced like. Well, a lot of people probably just think in that direction, so that's why someone actually come out and say that thing about an Igbo man making soya.
But where like this, there was this Igbo man that sells meat. Like where they sell meat, the slaughter is usually just the houses and a few Yorubas.
Okay.
So there was this Igbo man that began to sell meat. They started calling him Alaji just so he would blend with the crowd.
It's like it's a name attached to people who sell meat. Okay.
Yeah.
But now looking at all these things, do you think if Nigeria today will start like some people are screaming in some corridors and trying to raise their personal opinion, do you think if Nigeria was going to separate today, not to be Nigeria anymore, do you think we are going to still be enjoying this diversity that makes us one? The fact that the thing that relates you with person from the north has a lot to do with that suya he does. And the thing that will, let me not lie, that will connect you with somebody in the east has to do with the generator a lot. And you're looking at the thing that will connect you with education has to do with someone from the south a lot. Do you think that if we go our separate ways, we're going to enjoy life out of diversity, or do we enjoy life when we are all together with our diversity?
I think, first of all, I have to say this: you never know what you have until you lose it.
Okay.
That's one thing you should actually keep in mind. And I think one of the things that actually makes us beautiful, as in Nigeria, beautiful as people, as a nation, is the fact that we have so many different people living under one umbrella of Nigeria.
Canopy.
Yeah, Nigeria. That's actually one thing I feel actually makes this country beautiful. Now, what we haven't been able to understand is all of us haven't been able to understand this. That is why when we have obviously we all have different opinions, we have different views about stuff. When we have little differences, it now escalates into something big. We haven't been able to accept ourselves for who we are as a people.
Okay.
First.
Yes, the beauty of being of diversity is actually when there is unity. So you hear people say unity in diversity. Now, when there is unity, it's actually a very beautiful sight. Like, it's a rainbow. Look at the Igbo tribe, the Hausa tribe, the Yoruba, all coming together. It's really colorful.
Can I say Ibibio too?
What? You said?
I said Ibibio.
Ibibio. Okay, yeah, with the Ibibios and the Epi coming together, it's really colorful.
Where are the BBOs from Avenue? Anyway?
Sorry, sir. What are you saying?
I'm just trying to ask questions.
Okay. The point actually is, okay, let's be realistic. You cannot mix kerosene with water.
Why?
Why?
It just
Are they all not fluid?
The level of viscosity, yeah, it will. Have you ever put fuel and kerosene and water? You see that what's it called now? Water floats and kerosene settles because of the level of viscosity. Also, just like pouring oil in water, the oil will float and the water will go down. Now, that's something. In order for, I kind of feel like they say Nigeria is not together, Nigeria is separated. We just have the name and the people are not the same. Talk about oil and water, and we're going through a lot right now, and I think the country is boiling to a large extent, not literally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that has to happen because at the when I'm angry, you're angry. Then we have a conversation. That's when we're really able to settle and then reunite. So if the boiling takes place between water and oil, that's where you see a mix. When there's fire, when fire is introduced, but just water and oil is sure with a mix. So I think this is the phase we need to pass through as a country.
Wow, so we're actually in a phase. So people should not panic.
No.
Because many people are panicking.
Okay, I really need to understand what you just said now. Are you trying to say that it'll be okay for, Nigeria to split?
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying, like, we're going through a boiling phase. And just like water and oil, we need to undergo the fire to actually mix properly.
I got all that. Okay, but I mean, I was just trying to throw it back to the question that was asked though.
Yeah.
I feel like it all boils down to understanding.
At the end of the day.
It all boils down to that.
But as young people in Nigeria, the elder ones might tell us something. The people who are in between, elderly and the youth, like myself, are saying, calm down. I get you. You need water. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just saying, but do you think, if you were going to speak as a youth, do you think at this very point, you want to see a segregation, a separation, for you to be able to carve out a better future for self? Or do you think that if we went our separate ways, like there was the Arewa, there was the Oduduwa, and there was the Biafra, that if we were going to do these things separately, we were going to find our way on the course at which we were on our way to?
I don't think division is like a solution.
Sure.
I do not think division is the solution. Now, a lot of things or decision or the conversations that we as youth have, I listen and I see it's actually influenced by what we were told. Like by what the elders have said, by what they feel. Now, remember that these are people's thoughts. And they're allowed to be sentimental based on personal experience. Like personally, I've met really nice Arewa people.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. And then I kind of feel like okay, now this is not what I'm being told. It kind of proves like proves wrong a lot of things I was told growing up. Like, you're not supposed to mix with these people, you're not supposed to talk to these people, and then you get one-on-one experience with them, and you're like, okay, everybody's not like that. You cannot judge the entire sex by your
it's like you've actually used like a sample of the population to judge an entire population.
Yeah, so I think we should be allowed to tell our own story. We should experience things firsthand and be able to, like, this, the youth of this generation should really be able to make their own decisions based on what they feel and how they feel it. Now, our parents do not even help with, parents still tell their kids, you can't marry from this tribe. It still happens.
Actually, if you ask me, everybody was talking about racism and what all. I feel like the closest part of it, or the closest one to home, is actually tribalism.
That's
what
low budget racism. No.
Wow, okay.
It's low budget racism. But that's it.
But that's actually where it starts. So before we start hammering and talking and you know, trying to kill racism and all, we should actually start from
the roots,
home.
the root cause. Yes.
Go to the roots.
Yeah, so
get to the root of the problem.
They don't like black people. They don't like Africans. They don't like Nigerians. We
like ourselves. We don't like ourselves.
So.
Well, but do you think that was one reason why Yakubu Gowon in his own time came up with the idea of the NYSC,
yes.
so that you from the South can get to understand the North and learn their ethnicity? Now, if we look at this, it goes back to even one of the founding fathers of Nigeria, where you're looking at Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. He was someone that was of the eastern side, born in the North, schooled in the South, and understood all these angles. Now, the Wazobia happens to be 3 major tribes, of which he had learned a lot about these people. He had learned about their culture, their tradition, their customs, and all that. And he came and said, I've looked at it all, and we need to become one. He said it based on what now? Reasonable, or let's say rational thinking. Now, Sir Ahmadu Bello said, it is not about us just coming together and unifying, but it's about understanding. Do you think that we failed as Nigerians to understand each other before we walked together on one path?
I think that's actually, should I say that was where most of our problems actually started. Like I said, you cannot decide to live in peace with people or a group of people, whether or not you're 2 or 3 or more. You cannot decide to live with a group of people if you do not, first of all, make efforts to understand these people.
Yeah.
So that in itself has a whole lot to gain and to learn from.
Yeah, except you understand someone, you cannot agree with that person. At the point where you agree with someone is when you've got to understand their point of view.
I mean, even the good book says it. Two cannot work together
unless they agree. Yeah.
Okay, so agreement has a lot to play. So let's talk about all of us now and states we have been. I've been to some states in the South and the East. Traveled a lot.
Okay,
so let's all look at all of ourselves now. Like, we've all traveled. So let's look at the states we've been through, and the things we've learned about those persons or those people in that very places we've been. Outside the geopolitical, or what do we call it now? Yes, geopolitical zone. Outside the geopolitical zone of which you come from, where else have you been and what have you learned about these persons?
Okay, I'm from the south. I schooled in the southeast. That's the way they call it. Yeah, the eastern part of the country.
Okay.
And even a lot of times I hear people talk about the Biafra, and you say you're from the south. So I'm like, you're our brother. And then I can't think. I've lived with this person, and I'm like, with my understanding of how the whole climate is, I kind of feel like even if the Biafra has to be separated out of Nigeria and then there's still going to be problems. Like, there's still going to be that tussle, because even when they're telling you are our brother, they still make you feel like, okay, now we're trying to we are the Biafra, but now we're trying to add you to us. I don't know if you understand. Okay. There's still that superiority. There's this fight for supremacy. Yeah. Regardless of the fact that they say we're all Biafra and stuff. So I just feel Nigeria is like what it should be. This is what it should be. But now talk about people from the East. You know when they say that even people like money?
Yeah, it's not new.
It's not a lie. I know it's kind of cliche. But it's for real. It's not like, okay, one thing is everybody likes money, but these people are willing to do any and everything.
When you say anything, that's kind of like deep.
Yes, it's that deep. Okay, now there's a range. Okay, please, I don't want to say ritual on air, but it goes as far as like putting their legs in murky waters. Like they'll get literally like dig dirt just to make money. They have this hustling spirit. Hence, you go to the north and you see Igbo men. They have houses. Everywhere. Like they say, if you go to a country and you don't find an Igbo man there, that place is not safe. You should go back home.
Are you serious?
Yes, you've not heard that.
I heard someone say that before.
Yeah, where I grew up, it's like a thing.
So Igbo people are everywhere, like every part of the world.
They're hustlers. They have this hustling spirit, and I kind of like that a lot about
The good
them.
thing is they didn't say if you go to any planet. Because if you go to Mars now, you
might
don't
not
hear them
see
say,
them.
nah, bros, come be a pure water. You start saying, hey,
They come get him.
come be a pure water.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
No, you say, how much is 290 naira?
Okay.
What?
You say, I want something. And they say, what do you want? I want it. Give me that one. Give me the one that is Ogologo. Don't give me the one that is Nkpongpo.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
Now I enter.
Wow.
Well, but that's just the thing. Like, I grew up to be a Nigerian first before I was of my state and my tribe. I've always thought Nigerian before anything else.
Okay.
Before anything else. Look, let me tell you the truth. I think Nigerian before I even think my religion. First off, I must be able to tell you, when I was born, where was I born to? Where was I registered as? They registered my nationality before any other thing.
Yeah.
So first thing I think is I'm Nigerian, which means if I find myself in Europe and there's something going on with an Igbo person, I would not think he's Igbo. The first thing that comes to my mind is what?
He's Nigerian.
Good. Now, that has always been one focal point and one drive that has made me try to know everything that happens from the Igbo side. So when I went to school and they said, hey, we're going to learn languages, there were different languages, but I was like, Mkpunemede Igbo. Yes.
It's a guinea.
Mkpunemede Igbo.
Is it the way I was looking at him like, wait, what?
Yes. I had to learn Igbo language. So when I go out, I'll be like, Otu, Abo, Ato, Ise, Isi.
No. Why did this? You skipped 4.
Well, that's just me.
1, 2, 3, 5.
That's how we count. It's okay. Let's not judge.
No, but I'm
We're
just
not
saying.
judging.
No, it's Otu, Abo, Ato,
Eto, Eno.
Eno, Ise, Isi,
Is it Eno?
Asa, Asato, Itolu, Iri Otu, Iri Abo, Iri Ato.
Iri na ato.
You don't understand. No, you don't have to always put the na. The na is like and. Na is and. But if you want to just say 21, you won't say 20 and 1. So you can just say Iri Ato,
20.
Iri Abo. Then I had to learn that when you want to buy something, say Kambo Temgari. Nyengari.
You know Gary. You know Gary.
That's that part. Then I also had to learn that if Yoruba is another tribe that is really training, I must learn how to also know something in Yoruba, you know. So I now come and say, Maspa Korea. Hey. Then I'll come back and when somebody down says, I'm going the wrong way, I've been following this guy and I notice the guy is bad, I'll be like, Kokoro Tonje for real for Lord. Hey.
Okay. You see, you know what they always say? How people actually just learn like the
wrong
things in language. At least they learn to count in Igbo.
No, but even in Yoruba, I know a lot. I know how to relate in the easiest way. But I think that's the problem with us. Understanding each other, which when you go back, you think that Ahmadu Bello made a point when he said understand.
Yeah.
I need to understand you to be able to work with you. So when I know that, oh, these are your customs, these are the things that you guys hold, these are your norms and your values. I need to understand how to flow with you based on your norms and your values. So if I find myself in your own place, I know this is the things that I should do and not do.
Yeah.
True. It's easier to deal with them when you understand them.
Then it makes it easier for me to relate with anybody from the 3 major tribes of Nigeria. So if you're from the Igbo side, I understand exactly and perfectly well what you're about. Then when I meet with you from the Yoruba side, I should understand. You know, Obetodu Oju Owolopa. You say better soup na money kill am.
I only now tell one Coco.
Okay, now money
is the thing.
You get, so we have to all start thinking like, okay, what do we need to know about ourselves?
Yeah.
Now, apart from that, there's what we call specialties in every of these parts.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing about Nigeria in recent times, many tribes are also coming out to let you know what they are good in. So when they now say dance, you know the tribe that comes to your mind.
What tribe, please?
Well,
I'd like to say, I'd like to pick Efik. I mean, that's their convey thing.
well,
and
the
stuff,
Efik
so.
people are good, but I know when you look at dancing now, they definitely push you to the Benue side because the Thief people have a certain
Right.
dancing.
Yeah, okay.
They have a certain dance
that
that makes
dance?
everybody, it captivates everybody's attention. It's the attraction of public's attention. You start wondering, is this human?
Do they have spinal cords?
Yeah.
You
Do they have
see,
Ask that
bones?
question.
the questions that come in play.
Do they have bones?
Then when they talk about education now,
The South.
but even in the midst of education, when you know politics has to do with education,
Yeah, they
Okay.
do what?
but where do you point politics to?
The North.
The North, actually.
Yeah, the North.
That's the thing.
the North. But
So if I am going to start thinking one Nigeria or I'm thinking about knowing, then I should learn from the best, right?
yeah.
And who's the best? You just go to where you're going to learn from the best. You're learning business, trade, all these things. You now start thinking, which particular tribe have focused their minds on trade? We see the Igbo people. I have a shop. I bring some certain people. They work for me. After a while, I give them their freedom party. Hey, hey.
Please,
Yeah.
let's not talk party. Let's not talk party.
move past
Because
that,
I
because-
think the Igbos, they don't even do party. They just say to you, the Yorubas.
Have you ever gone for a Yoruba freedom
Yoruba-
party?
Yoruba. I thought I'm
You
saying the
ever
Yorubas.
celebrate basically? They don't need a reason to celebrate.
But they need
don't-
uniform.
Yeah.
Hey! Hey!
They don't need a reason.
Really,
for a
the
party.
first time I saw an awkward party was, I think she went to learn how to sew. She
That's where it
graduated
starts
as a
now.
seamstress. And the party was large. I'm like, Rebecca, what's happening? She's like, my graduation party. I'm like, oh my, really?
Yeah,
I just
why?
remembered
You
one
guys do-
graduation party I went for. We all wore our shobi.
I should be.
Hey! They did amala with begiri soup. Begiri. Hey! Have you ever eaten begiri soup?
I've said
It's yellow. They do it with beans.
Oh, wow.
When we started eating this thing, at some point when it was time to dance, they just play Shina Peter. Bang shori re. Bang shori. Hey! Can't forget it.
Wait. Was there a live band there?
Look, they played music. There was DJ and live band. Do you know what I like?
That's the
What I like
thing.
with Yoruba
Side by
DJs
side.
when they come, even then when they are playing the music,
They give that.
hey. Forget it. The truth of the matter is, but we have beauty in our
Yeah,
culture.
true.
Hey, imagine when you go for the daba, when you go for that daba, when they're doing those in the north, when you go for their celebration, when they have the camels, the cow, the horses. Hey, you have not seen Nigeria at its best.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't seen
And to
that.
think you have to go to Dubai to see that.
Dubai fire. Today,
See that?
my fear has always been that while we raise new kids and make them forget our customs and our culture and tradition and start focusing on fighting each other because you're not let us not reach a point, because now the whites are coming to Africa to study and learn
And
about
really
us.
teach our culture.
How would you feel when you have to now pay a white man to teach your child your language?
Yeah.
Your own. I'm Pan-African. Everybody knows. No matter how it goes, I always think African. I always have that thing inside me that I had forefathers.
Yeah.
I cannot wake up tomorrow and just kick everything out. I must always remember that the things they make you kick out today are the same things your forefathers believed in. It helped them. It led a long way to bring us today. So I will be thinking like, okay, so if I kick my forefathers' beliefs away totally, what is left of us?
We are our forefathers.
What is left of us? A lot is happening recently, and Africa needs to wake up. Because we're not awake, we swallow anything. So when they tell you, no, you're this, you're that, don't play along, you follow them. But were they there with you from the inception? The person that is trying to preach one other new story to you was the person there at the inception. Were you fighting at the inception about self? Because when we talk about statism, when we talk about tribalism, you now find that inside your tribalism, we're talking about clan. So there's like outer group and there's what you call in group. So in the in group, they are like, yes, you are our tribe. Are you from our clan? It is deep. Very deep. It is problemed because it is affecting even the leadership. Some people are questioning the leadership of the country and saying it's not going well. But most times when you start looking inside, it's because there are some other quarters that are believing he's not one of us. So we'll do our own thing. You're creating your own policy from a nation, Nigeria, that very nation, that our policy was the policy of Africa. What was the policy of Nigeria became the policy of Africa. But when we have division amongst us, do you really think that our policy today affects the policy of Africa? Because I think South Africa is operating differently from us. Somewhere we allowed ourselves for.
Giant of Africa.
Let us not just be a big giant that you're seeing, because Goliath was a nonsense giant.
Last giant is giant.
But it depends.
Yeah, maybe not be that kind of giant that it just takes one sling and a piece of stone.
And you're down already.
Yeah. So now, how solid are our roots? Do we even trace things back to our roots anymore?
Question
Actually,
to ask.
A lot of people have actually forgotten their roots.
Okay, now I heard of a museum. I think it's in London, where people pay to go and see an art, like an artwork that was taken from Benin, right here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there was also this document about Nigeria that is found in a what's it called now? A museum in London as well.
London has so much about us.
And I'm like, okay, now we want to make we want to research about our country. We have to travel all the way to London. Now, these are like basic things that we see that they've taken. There's a lot more that they have taken, and I think the earlier we begin to redeem this and like this thing,
a lot and counting.
Okay.
Yeah, the ones that we don't know, right?
Exactly.
And then there was once we were having this conversation that we said like civilization began in Africa. Yeah.
Because when you look at it, like, okay, recently, like you were saying, I was trying to run a research because we had this argument with a bunch of friends where we're talking about how we are called Nigerians. Where we now start finding out there's a document in London that calls Negricias.
Oh, yeah.
And we now found out there's another document in the Arab world that refers to us as Central Sudan.
Yeah, I think I read something on that.
Then we now started understanding what Sudan means. Sudan means a land of black people. And you're wondering, why didn't we ever think about these things? Why did we have to wait this long? We are fighting because we don't know ourselves. You know, the thing about it is, if you know where you're coming from, you know where you're going to.
Yeah.
But when you don't know where you're coming from, you're going back to where you're coming from. So when they start telling you, you start saying, oh, well, one certain time there was this Lord Lugard guy that came around to Nigeria. And after that, you know, there was this thing that happened. And his wife, Lady Florence, just came and said, well, we found this land around the Niger area, so let's call it Nigeria. And next thing, there was this other man that was taking a boat ride all around Africa, feeling free. Feeling free. And that's how we now say, okay, yes, it's true, we're Nigeria. But what have we gone for to learn about ourselves? Our artifacts have been taken away. Possibly most of these artifacts that would have traced us back to our roots are the things that we can't find to trace us back to where we belong.
Because they've been taken away.
Because most of our forefathers even sold them, gave them away. But now what this generation should be doing is find a way to redeem it. But we're actually towing the part that our fathers did.
Yes, but we need to be wiser. When they say your teacher teaches you, it does not teach you to be dumb. It teaches you to be wiser, right? So if our forefathers were selling out lands and
even
people
yeah.
for mirror and bicycle, calling the bicycle an iron horse.
Yeah.
What have we replaced with iron horse today that we're not looking into? Because it might just be happening. But the iron horse has been replaced as technology has advanced. So we're not thinking, okay, yeah, well, you know what? What happens when you're taking too much tea and forgetting that you're at the battlefield? Imagine you're at the battlefield and it's a cold region, and all you keep thinking about is the tea you're taking and the sugar inside the tea. To the point that when they now notice, they now said the best way to make you come so that they can lay an ambush for you is to say, you guys are run out of sugar, there's this other place where you can get sugar.
You know how we talked about how too much of everything is bad. You need to understand the sugar is not even good for us. So
We can do away without it.
exactly.
I mean, we
Yes.
have sugar cane. We can make syrup out of that. Why are we not looking? Like, we should look inwards.
Yeah, looking inwards just brings me to another point. Looking at those things that we have right here in the country that we are not tapping into. Rather, we are importing. Like, for instance, it's not crazy when we have to import things like sardines.
And if there's
Okay,
fish
let me,
everywhere.
let me blow your mind. Okay, there's something that we import that we actually throw away right here. It's called bitumen. It's also called asphalt. What we call asphalt. What our roads are coated with. Yeah.
bitumen.
Recently, Fashola was giving the statement and he said, asphalt can actually be gotten as a byproduct of petroleum
Yeah.
exploration. Now we actually import that for over 200,000 naira per metric ton.
Wow.
Nigeria is currently importing that. Now that is something that we have as a byproduct that we can actually refine per metric ton for
Is it-
less than
The
100,000.
question is it getting the work done?
So
That is
now
the problem.
we have the byproduct and we throw it away, and then we go tomorrow to import.
Wow.
Now
But-
that's how it is.
But
No, but
another question is, when we throw it away, where do we throw it to? Who buys them and comes back to sell them to us when it's refined?
Funny.
You never know.
Them still.
It's still done.
Yeah, true.
And it's kind of weird where everybody wants to wear gold and they have to buy gold that was made in Sierra Leone. Meanwhile, somewhere in Nigeria called Zamfara, there was gold being mined where it was discovered, but because we did not know how to go about it, it became a crazy banditry
As to
thing.
Nigeria, it's funny how I think the 50% of gold and diamonds that in the world, actually 50% of gold and diamond like in the world is actually gotten in Africa, here.
Yeah.
But
So like the remaining 50%, the rest of the world actually shares it
Shares
amongst
it.
themselves.
But you know the truth is, if you don't make use of what you have, people are going to help you.
So where does it start? Does it start from us trying to segregate and to look at ourselves like, oh, we don't need to be here? Because it's not just Nigeria. There's been so much fight about division. If you look at the case of Rwanda, where we had the Hutus and the Tutsis, and there's a whole lot of countries where there's crisis, war, and all that, where you look at places like Darfur, they've forgotten that there is mineral under the ground, but they've changed their minds into fighting for other things.
Thanks, yeah.
I think it all boils down to prioritizing.
To a
One,
large extent.
you need, first of all, you need to know and understand what you have inside of you, within you. Now, I'm not just talking individuals, but like nations at large. You need to first of all know and understand what you have inside of you, within you, and then you need to go ahead or move further to, should I say, prioritize better. So you pick out what is most important and start working on it, working with what you have based on what is most important to you and the nation.
Okay.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it goes a long way if we look within what we have, like you said. Because right now, I think what the problem that the world has is that, like, I'm actually weighing myself in relation to what you have. So now you're the yardstick for measuring what I have.
Yeah.
And knowing that every human is like unique in his or her own way. Now let me give a clear instance. For instance, we have what's it called now? Voodoo. They say Africa has voodoo. Out there they do as well. But now I'm going to ask this clear question. Is voodoo bad? A lot of people will say yes. For the sake of the religion that we practice now, a lot of our ancestors will say the white man's religion. But now there's a lot that voodoo can do that is not actually bad.
Okay.
Our forefathers used to use that to heal people. They say it's a gift. Now we felt like we abandoned that because of the white man's medicine.
Okay. What is the white man's medicine? That's like we're talking
The
about the
Western
tablets,
Yes,
the
tablets,
injections.
yes.
Or are we talking about the holy books?
No, our forefathers used to treat themselves before the white man came. And then we're like, okay, they used to use bitter leaf, but let me hydrolyze it, take the water out, make it dry, put it in capsules as well. I bring it out there, and because of the white man's knowledge, someone comes and say it hasn't gone through it hasn't been proven to work scientifically, so you cannot take it. Now they undermine what I have, and I listen to them.
Okay.
And I wouldn't even come out to stand and like say what I have. This is what my grandfather did, and this is what my forefathers did, and it worked for them. So I believe like we should continue with this trend. I think we should actually look at what we have and use what we have to a large extent, and not actually use other people as a yardstick, because we belong to different climes, and even our immune system have been proven to be different in so many ways. So we shouldn't actually use them as a yardstick to measure what we have.
Would we say that that's one of the things that's stopping many of our what they call these people now, people who do naturopathic now?
Yeah.
Would you say that's one of the reasons why most of them will not venture into finding a cure for some of the pandemics we're facing, and some of the diseases that have no cures, or viruses, for instance, the HIV, hepatitis, and
even the
coronavirus?
I feel like that might actually be like a limiting factor, because most times when they look, and I think it all has to do with the fact that most people actually do not have like faith in themselves.
Okay.
You practice this, and to some extent, okay, this has actually worked for our fathers in the past, has worked for our forefathers in the past, our ancestors. They actually used these methods before now. It had worked for them. But now the thing is, you've been, do I call it inferiority complex now?
Yeah.
You've been made to believe that you are less of what you are.
Actually.
You've been made to believe that. So a lot of people just have that in their head. I'm like, okay, so if these people come forward and tell me, okay, this is it, I mean, am I really up to them? I should probably just take their word for it.
But like there's this popular saying that Rome wasn't built in a day.
True.
Okay, now take the case of Madagascar. Now the COVID organics they came up with.
Yeah.
Now one thing I know, like back in secondary school, I was taught that Michael Faraday tried to make electricity over 1,000 times, and 999 times he failed. And he came out to say that 999 times he found out ways that electricity cannot come to be.
So it wasn't failure.
It wasn't failure. Now a lot of people have come to say, okay, Madagascar rising case of COVID-19, and they're like, they failed. Oh, we thought they had a cure. The whole of Africa now came to ridicule them. The same people that sang their praises and like, okay, we're glad that it came from Africa, and I don't know if you understand.
Yeah,
I think what the other, like the brother world would have done is, okay, it has worked in the short term. Like in the short term, it has worked. Okay, let's see what made it fail.
Yes, it's
now they're
supposed
supposed to learn from
yes.
it. Yeah, but now everybody's just ditching it. COVID organic, the scientists to us, countries are ditching it. So I think what they would have done is, okay, now it works in the short term. Let's see what made it fail. What made it work in the first place? Amplify that.
What should we have done better?
Yes, improve it. Like amplify whatever made it work, and then take out whatever is making it fail in the so in the long run we should have something of it. But something about Africa now, continuity is a problem. So one project doesn't work, we ditch it, and now that's like a very big.
I think this actually just brings me back to the whole inferiority complex thing.
Yeah,
it's like the Western world has actually somehow brainwashed us into thinking we are not up to what we are supposed to have. Like they brainwashed us into thinking we're not worth.
Like whatever we do is not really up to par.
Yes, it's not up to standard.
No.
Have we ever done anything from inside Africa that has gone out to the whole world, that the world is patronizing in terms of pharmaceuticals and all?
No, I actually felt like that export would be the COVID organics, but unfortunately it was short-lived. Like I actually felt it was. And
it's actually organics. Sad that fellow Africans actually
they were actually the first to stand by.
Yes, they were actually quick to criticize Madagascar.
Okay, which means that somehow, someway, we have been forced to not believe in ourselves.
Yes, exactly. That's the inferiority complex that we have.
Wow, okay, that's a very deep one. But I'm looking at that part of the stories where it comes to what we can do and what we don't believe we can do. Is it because our leaders have not really invested in some angles of things that we can do that has led to this?
Yes, because I was going to get to the part of leadership where it is not very encouraging, because like I said, the COVID organics, and then we being the first to throw it out. If like other African countries have come together to say, okay, now let's bring our pharmaceutical companies together, let's work on this more. Now we even have issues with our leadership. I remember there was a time they were talking about the great brain drain. Where a lot of us Africans were very intelligent people, were pretty smart people, and one of the reasons that we were actually exported to the Western world was because of our strength. Yes, and so we have all of these things, but we do not have the enabling environment to actually be the best that we can be. So if we can be that out there, it means that if the environment is provided here, we can be a lot more.
That's the thing. We see a lot of Africans, a lot of Nigerians in Western countries actually making waves. Actually, that's the truth. We see a lot of Africans doing like great things in Western world. The thing is, we need to understand that there are a lot of talented people. Let's talk Nigeria. In Nigeria, for instance, there are a lot of people that are creating things. There are a lot of people that are manufacturing things on their own. But now, like you said, the opportunity hasn't been given to them. Now, our leaders are out there just probably looking for big names. Big names that they can actually just maybe put out there and so person did this. But we have young people around the country actually doing stuff, creating stuff, manufacturing. I mean, there was the guy, I think it was a guy from Just, that he said actually manufactured a sports car. That actually made the news, and he did something. He also created.
His name is Jerry Malo.
Okay.
Jerry Malo made a sports car, and the weird part is he did other things, because I know he did a tractor. He did some tractors.
Yes.
He did a machine. Because when they were talking about the COVID-19 and talking about how it spreads from hands, he created something whereby you just use your legs and just keep stepping on and all that.
You got sanitizer and all of that. Like, people are doing things like this, but we haven't seen our leaders come forward to say, okay, I want to support these people.
Yeah, to a large extent.
And also we have the Innocent Motors thing.
Yes.
Where we have a car being done by a Nigerian, for Nigerians in the world.
How many Nigerians can afford the Innocent by Nigeria car?
Well, I think that one now falls back to the guy who is actually doing the program.
But then another question is, how many Nigerians
actually
actually want to buy?
Look who comes. Somebody just steps inside the studio.
Elvis for president.
Okay, I was gonna say the human giraffe.
Okay, you know what? Let's hold on. Let's hold on this conversation. We'll take on a short break.
Yeah.
Then when we come back, we'll have Elvis join us in the studio to talk more about what we are doing this very day. Well, in case you're just listening, you just tuned in, remember, this is African Patriot Radio.
Yes.
We're just having a chat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, those days comes when you just want to sit back and talk about everything that's happening. You know one thing about holding it inside your heart.
No, you need to bring it
You
out.
need to vent.
So you might start swelling.
Oh, shit.
Why are you swelling? Are you Gary?
Wow.
Now only Gary when it is our time is swell.
You did not just say that.
But anyway, we have a lot to talk about when it comes to nation building in Africa and Nigeria, and as well as other African countries. We'll play a song by DJ Jagger, and when we come back, we'll continue. It features Muffin, and this one is called Bad. Don't go nowhere. We're not bad. We're just trying to look at what people have looked at as bad and try to see you what is good. That's what it is. We'll be right back. Just don't go nowhere. Keep listening and watching.
Got that sauce in it.
It's Jagger, baby.
My fire, yeah. She said you wanna be free. Don't need no nigga for a need. Said if I let her, she gon' leave. Say she don't wanna be a burden, yeah. But she don't say me I love her die. Me I never see her die. I didn't see her for my dreams one night. If she don't give me no fish sleep one life. I need you back. Want you back, yeah. Love you back. Want you back, yeah. I swear I love you back. Need you back. I want you back, yeah. Want you back. Pull up in your city, we go titty, and back to my city. She got a big titties, suck them titties, yiddy, no big game where I did play. If I say I want you, I mean it. I feel even got to clean it for your love, oh yeah. I need you back. Want you back, yeah. Love you back. Want you back, yeah. I swear I love you back. Need you back. I want you back, yeah. Want you back. I know you're different. You know I'm different. They on top, you're my dad. I want to make you my lover. I want to make you my lover. Love me, not me and you, we go prosper. I want to see your father. Ride you like a kata. Ride you like a kata. Stick on chop you like a fata. I want your back, yeah. Want your back, yeah.
Life na jungle, oh. Body, you need to struggle, oh. Sure you want collect all the bundle, oh. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Life na jungle, oh. Body, you need to hustle, oh. If you want jump, I saw the bubble, oh. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Break a baby, oh. I learn to you, they make men go crazy, yo. They say you find the pass it, I rego maybe, yo. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Break a baby, yo. I learn to you, they make men go crazy, yo. They say you find the pass it, I rego maybe, yo. When the beautiful ones are not yet born. Go shout, girl. Anisha, Isha, Bate. Go shout, yo. Oh, yeah. Good morning, afternoon, depending on which time or evening. I hope say this little piece of advice I go get meaning to those who been they feel solo. Based on their baby, you are all on your own. Now you pray to the ceiling. I know the situation of the country right now, no funny. You know go even feel wash your clothes, make you big money. I know say you go like to right your wrongs, but there's no penny. Meanwhile, you go out to see that on my wife. Still be on it, but based on this fact, you say you won't give up. Buna, you feel give up. BP rising, no great drop. But based on this advice, you say make I shut up. I go shut up. One more line, then I lock up.
Waiting, man, do. Life done, they do what for man, do. You guys find a way to survive, too. And all everybody do. Waiting, man, do. Life done, they do what for man, do. You guys find a way to survive, too. And all everybody do for man, do.
Life na jungle, oh. Body, you need to struggle, oh. Sure you want collect all the bundle, oh. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Life na jungle, oh. Body, you need to hustle, oh. If you want jump, I saw the bubble, oh. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Break a baby, oh. I learn to you, they make men go crazy, oh. They say you find the pass it, I rego maybe, oh. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Break a baby, oh. I learn to you, they make men go crazy, oh. They say you find the pass it, I rego maybe, oh. When the beautiful ones are not yet to go shout, yeah. Anisha, Isha, Bate. Go shout, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Baby, your back with the glossy, I go slow. They make that man one dance, see a zone too. Show me your back, make I spend all the money. Now man, they walk, now babu, they jump on me.
Oh my lordy, and just situation ready. Boys just the grind and the steady. All I want ask is just one more question.
Waiting, man, do. Life on they do what for man, do. You guys find a way to survive, too. And all everybody will do for man, do. Waiting, man, do. Life on they do what for man, do. You guys find a way to survive, too. And all everybody will do for man.
Young famous on the mix.
Alright, so welcome back, and you're still listening to APR Charts, and we have a whole lot of people in the studio this evening. Look what... What? Oh my God, Stargirl is somewhere. Stargirl is somewhere behind though. But I'm sure pretty soon we're going to bring her in the studio. But for now, we have Elvis who just stepped in the studio, and we have a whole lot to talk about this very.
Elvis for president.
Elvis for president, by the way. Vote him when he
The name is never complete if that's not added.
Oh,
If
really?
not,
No, I didn't say that.
It's not about.
No,
You know,
she's my
all
manager.
of.
She's my campaign manager.
I am.
She's not going. She's not going to talk again
No,
now.
I'm still going to talk, but sir, you need to play your cards right.
See,
You know,
I think that's
you need to be able to.
I act based on the advice given to me by you guys.
Hey.
Who are you guys?
I don't understand.
But wait,
You my
so
plug now, you
I'm
my
your
plug.
campaign manager. I haven't been paid.
Put a plug in socket, me.
Hey, plug and socket.
You don't balance now. We go plug.
But you know, when he says that, it just drew my mind to another thing that has been happening. Where we're talking about young people in governance, and we're looking going wrong, or things that we feel have been the reasons why we are where we are today and why we are not where we could be in Africa, Nigeria, and Africa as a whole, because we're trying to represent every continent, every country in the continent called Africa.
Yeah.
Before I start representing every other person. Okay, but let's look at it now. Do you think part of the reasons or the problems we have has a lot to do with the young people being in position of making things happen? And apart from them not being in the position, another angle is looking at looking at the angle whereby they do not have an orientation about their past to be able to know where their future leads to. You know, they say for a captain to be able to understand where his course is in a ship, it has a lot to do with where he started his journey from.
Yeah.
It tells when you started, where did you say you were going to? So do we look at that as also a problem in Africa, being that even when young people say we want to take over power, they do not really understand where the fight or the struggle for a better Africa, for a better, well, let's say Somalia, a better Kenya, a better Botswana, a better where is headed towards?
Okay. I want to start first by saying, you know how growing up we used to hear children
The youth are
the leaders of tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes. We've always had that. Now, I mean, I heard someone say the other day, maybe our tomorrow isn't here yet.
Okay.
Tomorrow keeps coming.
Yes. No, but I think what we need to understand is if we keep waiting for the tomorrow, according to them, they say isn't here, they wouldn't do anything. We need to be able to understand that today is actually the tomorrow they talked about yesterday.
But you know, there's this statement, there's this sort of phrase, they said that today is an orphan, and tomorrow is the bastard of many children. Oh no, let's say tomorrow is the bastard of many parents, right? Because they say there's a million tomorrows and there's just one today.
Yeah, sure.
After today passes, there is no tomorrow, but you will not be in your tomorrow talking about today.
Okay, now there's something else you said about knowing where you're going when you know where you're coming from.
Yeah, of course.
All right, now the problem is not even giving youths the opportunity. Although that would be like giving youth the opportunity will be a step in the right direction. That would be one way towards where we want to go, where we all want to go. We're talking about there was this initiative, not too young to run, and the likes. Okay, we're not too young to run. We want this opportunity, and when we're given